Welcome to ClueCon Weekly. Join us every Wednesday to learn about the latest cutting-edge developments in the real-time communications industry. ClueCon Weekly is brought to you by FreeSwitch Solutions. Get support and professional services directly from the creators of the FreeSwitch open source project, solving your issues in the most efficient, stable, and scalable way possible. Get the FreeSwitch advantage. Visit freeswitch.com. Also brought to you by ClueCon, the premier technology conference for developers by developers. Join us every summer in Chicago. ClueCon kicks off on Monday with our annual hackathon, The Coder Games, followed by 3 days of technology-rich presentations discussing telecom, WebRTC, and IoT from developers around the world. To learn more, visit ClueCon.com or call 877-74-CLUE.
And welcome to ClueCon Weekly. Today is the 24th of April, 2019. This week, we're going to be joined by Jim O'Brien and John Chow from CounterPath. You guys have probably seen Jim on here before. He's been around the industry for a long time. John is the product manager for Bria Teams, and they're going to be talking about that today. So stand by for that. They've got some really cool stuff to show off, and we'll get to that in just a minute. First, let's go see Miss Abby for the news. Abby, how are you doing today, ma'am?
I am doing wonderful today. Thank you for asking. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on ClueCon Weekly. So first, a special shout out to Polly. Thank you for sponsoring ClueCon. Our sponsors, like you, make our conference as special as it is, and we are very grateful for that. If you, the listeners, are interested in sponsoring ClueCon this year on our 15th anniversary, you can email Sharon at freeswitch.com. So, in celebration of our 15th anniversary of ClueCon, like I mentioned before, for a limited time, you can actually register for the lowest price that we've had in over a decade at $7.99. So I would definitely jump on that price while you still can. We're not sure how long it's going to last, but we know it's not forever. So definitely go over to ClueCon.com and sign up for that. Also, check out our FreeSwitch and OpenSIPs training at ClueCon. So that's the last day of ClueCon, that Friday on August 9th, and it's only $299.99. So act now. Make sure to also join us that Monday of ClueCon in order to participate in the Coder Games. It is a lot of fun. That is our version of a hackathon, so there are games for all skill sets or all interest levels. So definitely come on that Monday on August 5th, and we have a lot of really cool prizes that you could win, so there's no downside. And of course, as always, if you have any questions to ask our wonderful guests live, you can ask us in our Slack channel. If you're not part of it, you can join at signalwire.community or ask in the YouTube comments. All right, that's all the announcements I have for today. Back to you, Ken.
All right, thank you very much, Abby. Losing my mind over here. So, all right, guys, we're going to jump over, and we've got Mr. Mike Mavroudis and Mike Jarrett with Community Corner today. Hey, guys, how y'all doing?
Doing great. Good morning.
Hi, guys. So, Mike, we have a question for you today. And this question is from the FreeSwitch FreeSwitch users mailing list. And it is fork dialog support. Hi, I am running the latest 1.6 release of FreeSwitch. There's OpenSIPs in front of the FreeSwitch box. The problem I am facing is with dialog, the forced dialog. Does FreeSwitch support this? Assuming the first route selection over FreeSwitch fails and OpenSIPs tries with the second one, it replies with a 482 request merge. As I see from tag, call ID, and the request of both invites, first route and last one are exactly the same. Is there any chance to put it running?
Put it running. Fork dialog, proxy fork dialogues should work. If you're having troubles, I believe that post said it was using 1.6. Definitely try the latest. The The one caveat to that question is do not use proxy fork dialogues with 100 REL. It will not generally end well. I understand the reason for using fork dialogues at the proxy. Typically, when you're using it as a registrar and calling out to multiple entries, it's easier to have the proxy do it. What I generally do in those situations is share that registration data back to FreeSwitch and do the fork on FreeSwitch because it gives you a little bit more control over everything you can do, and generally is less complicated to deal with. The SIP forking, I've found that very few people actually understand what they're looking at, and it just generally confuses them. So it's easier if you can get FreeSwitch to do it, just because it's going to make more sense to more people, because they're separate calls. But it should work without 100 REL. I would just recommend going the other way. If you're still having issues, try the latest 1.8. It may be an issue with older code.
But I think just the plain fact that it says requests have been merged really means it is working, right?
I mean, that I believe is what we would expect to see. And I have seen it working in the past. So if there's a specific issue, we'd need to dig further into that. But it is my understanding that that has been working, and I have yet to see any reports that it is not working. So try latest. A little note to everybody. There seems to be this contingent of people that love using 1.6 and think that that's the latest and greatest. It isn't. 1.6 is complete abandonware. It's something that's like a year and a half, 2 years old that we don't think about at all. If you're using 1.6 and something's not working, I'm going to ask you why you're still using Windows 3.1. It's not used code anymore, and people who are happily upgrading every 1.6 version but want to upgrade to 1.8, it's an imaginary distinction as far as that. The upgrade path from 1.6 to 1.8 is as clean as the minor versions in 1.6. So strongly recommend getting off the 1.6 train, because any problem you have, we're going to essentially ignore. That code is long abandoned at this point. So time to move on.
So the takeaway is do everything in FreeSwitch. Call forking in FreeSwitch.
I mean, you will get more control out of it if you do it in FreeSwitch, although I do not believe it's required. It is the way that I tend to lean personally. You've got full control over exact timing of things and things like that in FreeSwitch, and easier to understand call dialogues. SIP forking has always been kind of an abomination, so lots of things don't work well with it, although we should.
Okay, answers from the experts. So thank you, Mike. And then, so today we have Jim O'Brien. Oh, Jim, you're muted here, right?
Thanks. Sorry about that. Hi, how are you?
So Jim, thank you for coming in today. It's actually, you were just on the show relatively recently, like a month ago, but you have new stuff. So what's new over at CounterPath?
So we wanted to talk about Bria Teams a little bit, which is a small to medium business offering that we have. It takes our Bria clients across all the different platforms and wraps them up with some network services, some sort of, it's an overused term, but UC services. That's what we want to talk about.
Okay, sounds good. We'd love to hear it.
Cool. All right, let me fire up my screen share if that makes sense. Ken, are you not looking at the conference anymore? So let me know if that's up and you guys can see my couple slides.
Yep, it's up.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so I'll try to make this as painless as possible. There's only 13 real slides, so we'll kind of try to crunch through them quickly. So what are the things that people come to CounterPath for? And I think probably what CounterPath is best known for is our Bria clients that run on Mac and Windows, they run on iOS and Android, both smartphone and tablets. And the idea there is that we want to let people communicate with whatever device they may have, over whatever network they have, against any real call server platform that they might be communicating. So for a bunch of our customers, that means that they're operating against a free switch that they might be running themselves, or it could be a free switch that their carrier is running, their ITSP is running. But we also have customers who use Asterisk and who use Cisco and who use GenBand and Ribbon and hundreds of other call server platforms, and or just SIP services, right, where they might not know what platform is. And the CounterPath for this ability to use those communication services everywhere. And one of the things that we see as a pain point for small businesses from our market research data that we have is that for small businesses, a lot of small businesses get started on consumer apps. So everyone signs up for a Skype account, right? Or everyone signs up for I'll use something really arcane, like an AOL Instant Messenger account, right? And you start out using that, and it works, and it's okay. But eventually, people end up using 5, 6, 7 different tools to get their jobs done, to do their communication both internally, inside their team, inside their company, inside their organization, and also externally. And so really what we're trying to do with Bria Teams is take the kind of the app chaos that people might have in their organizations today and bring it back to a single app that meets all their communication needs. That's Bria with a whole bunch of back-end services. Right? So this is just some market data, some trending, but I don't know if people still remember what desk phones are, but they're these plastic things that sit on your desk, and a desk is a place that you go to and sit during the day, right? It's not a cafe, it's not your desk at home versus your desk at the office versus desk at WeWork or whatever it might be. So people have been moving more towards mobility and just the ability to use the communication services they want wherever they want on whatever device they want. And that's sort of left to right kind of progression.
And so this is something that becomes more and more prevalent as we have remote workers too, because having this constantly contactable remote presence becomes more and more challenging. In the old days, you would just have an office. Everyone shows up at the office. They have their desk phone, and that's all they need, right? But now, with people working from home and people having multiple offices and that type of stuff, this unified communications is just so crucially important.
Right. And there are some hours where I'm away from my desk, but to tell you the truth, it's amazing what I can do from my smartphone. I can SSH into application servers. I can go into my different cloud provider apps and spin up and spin down instances or modify instances. It's a pretty powerful tool for a lot of people. So you can be mobile, right? So the other piece of this is the mobility aspect, and for a lot of SMBs and even really our large customers, like the financial vertical and the retail vertical and the government vertical, they're dealing with these same challenges in a different way at a different scale. But for them, they're also dealing with, it's not just company issued desktop computers and laptops, or maybe even company issued phones. It's all the devices that a person has, and they want to use all of those in whatever combination as it makes sense. One of the things that we've realized is that UC is a very much overdone word, but a lot of the UC services that people are looking for, sort of everything except for voice, is something that people don't always get from the systems that they're using. So Bria Teams essentially takes everything except for the dial tone and provides that to our customers today. And really that includes messaging, file transfer, and the most recent feature is virtual meeting rooms, or collaboration, a lot like this conference. So that's that piece. We've got some really great videos. I think, Ken, you were going to play one. But if you go to YouTube, check out the CounterPath channel, there's this a really funny set of couples called Business World Problems that Ken isn't going to play. But you should check those out because they're kind of funny. But it talks about how people are using all these different kinds of apps and communication methods to try to communicate with each other.
Well, I've got to tell you, like, you're completely right. When it comes to like teams using so many different devices, I mean, and it's all too common. And then what happens is you become so embedded and reliant on different software apps and stuff like that. You know?
Yes, it slacks down, so I don't know what's going on with the build system because I don't remember how to look at the build system, or just funny things like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, Ken, did you want to play that video now? Is that okay?
Communication technology has come a long way over the years, and that's generally been a good thing for business. But with today's businesses dealing with remote workers, disorganized conference calls, and endless messaging platforms, communication is complicated, inefficient, and tough to manage. That's why CounterPath created Bria Teams, a service that provides team messaging and presence, voice and video calling, screen sharing, and onboarding and integration tools designed to help businesses connect easily and effectively, all for one low price. And on multiple devices. Send secure one-to-one messages or start a group chat with your team to keep communications flowing. And have them receive and respond on the device that suits them at the time. Make calls between your team as well and meet face-to-face even if you're miles apart. Bria Teams makes it easy to share your screen too. Simply invite your participants. They can see your screen on any device with no additional downloads or plugins required. It also has an easy-to-use platform, so setup and ongoing management of your team is a snap. Go from a team of one to a team of many. And Bria Teams integrates seamlessly with your call server or VoIP service provider to support high-quality calls outside your team, across the globe, or just across the office. So get it now at softphone.com and start solving your business world problems.
Probably summarizes it better than so just to break it down a little bit, I've got a few charts. We'll try to go quick. So we have for team messaging. So this is one-to-one group chat, one-to-one chat and group chat, persistent chat rooms. Think Slack, but also think kind of one-to-one messaging. Integrated file sharing, screen sharing, so you can share your screen with other people, whether they're part of your team or just a customer that you've called up. You can send them a web link and they can see your screen. We also support calling between between members of your team, so on-net calling for voice and video. And we found that was helpful for people because sometimes setting up their regular SIP account took a while, or they had to find the IT person to get that done. So if a group inside a larger organization wanted to just set this up, if we provided them basic user-to-user calling, that really helped them get off the ground. And then afterwards, they could add their essentially PSTN or PBX based calling after presence, and then they could do it on the device. Yeah, so we provide HD calling. So on the desktops, we support up to 1080p video, 30 frames per second, VP8 and H.264. And on the mobiles, we go up to 720p video. So a very high quality experience, which is what people are looking for. Messaging is really important to people as well. And I think sometimes people don't understand the impact of messaging, or what you're able to achieve with messaging. So in this graphic, you can see in the middle, there's a bunch of rooms, essentially persistent chat rooms that you can talk about, talk with people on. You can have a number of people in a room. You can also have one-to-one messaging as well. And like we talked about, you can plug in any VoIP service, so it could be a service or a server to get your PSTN voice or your existing kind of PBX-based voice. So we offer a 30-day free trial of what we now call the Pro plan of Bria Teams. And in addition to everything we talked about already, that includes this virtual meeting room function, which is essentially a collaboration room for every user that either people on your team can use with Bria clients, either mobile or desktop. And if you have guests, they can join via a web interface as well. I'm trying to go fast because I know people love to read slides. Yeah, so that's what Bria Teams Pro adds, and that's something we launched about. John, is it 30 days ago yet? I should have remembered the stat, but I think it's right about 30 days ago we launched the Pro version.
Yeah, about that.
About that, yeah. Thanks. Thanks for my fact checking there. Yeah, and so this is a view of the collaboration interface. And I was planning on doing a demo after the slides, so I won't spend too much time talking about that. But let's just jump right to let's just jump right to the demo. That's okay. Okay, so this is my so this is my iPhone. You see on the left-hand side of the screen, and this is my Mac app. So these are both connected to Bria Teams, and I'm logged into, it's actually one of John's test groups. He was kind enough to give me a demo account on. So I can go through the client, and I can see people's presence and contact information. The demo gods are not with me because I think something's messed up with my presence, and I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm sure I broke something while setting up for the demo. But you can see I can call John a number of ways. Call him directly, or I can join his collab room, or his chat room as well. We also have favorites, and we have call history, and we've got a whole bunch of settings around what I want my collab room to do. Do I want it to be 1080p or 720? What I want the layout to start out as, things like that. If I go either onto John and right-click and just message him, I can say, "Hi, John." So I can message him and we can chat. Again, for some reason, my presence is broken. The other thing that's kind of important here is that all your, I'm trying to click on my iPhone with my regular mouse, all of your conversations are replicated across here. So John and I also set up a test persistent chat room, right? There's not, oops, what's going on? Room not available is not. Well, anyway, if this were working, you'd see that this persistent chat room is a room that we have, and we can trade messages here and add other people as well to the room and configure things like that. So let me just jump in and show you the collab piece of this, which is kind of the interesting part. So I'm going to start a collab session.
You are the only participant in this conference.
So once I've started this, I can go in and I can actually add John. And in IM, John will get an invite from me that asks him to join the room. I can start my video here. And then once we've got multiple people in the room, I can control the layout. Hey, John. So we can do things like focus group view, ribbon kind of view. It kind of looks a little bit like Hangouts maybe. Or if I want to just have one person present to everyone, we've got this view called. Okay. I think my video is being blocked by.
You are the only participant in this conference.
Okay, so that's my video over here. You can see my this red shirt. Yeah, I've got all these participant controls, and you can mute people out. You can lock the mute. You can lock the room so no one else can join. There's also sort of an in-room chat, which again, so I broke something on my accident. So, yeah, that's this. Yeah, using your other camera as well. Yeah, so I think that's the, I wanted to keep it kind of quick and dirty, and other than a few little technical errors. Oh, look at that! Huh. I think my presence is coming back. Whatever I was doing wrong. I think that's it for demo. The other thing I wanted to show people is that we try to make it super easy to sign
You
up.
are the only participant in this conference.
We try to make it super easy to sign up. So we're not doing a ton of annoying steps to set up. So you can just say try. I can call this Jim does VoIP. I think I'm up to number 8 or so. Test groups, since I last figured them all out. So I can enter my email, Jim. Super secure password. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I just type something. Click to accept the terms of the agreement. And then at that point, I can so you get brought in to build your team. So I could do Chow. I think that's probably already taken, so I won't bother to do that. But at this point, you can invite a whole bunch of people, and you keep adding people to invite. So you send this invitation off, and everyone on your team gets an invite where they're prompted to download whatever kind of combination of clients that they're looking to use, and they can be up and running with messaging, peer-to-peer, voice and video calling, collaboration. And at some point, you could add your ITSP or PBX account and get that part set up as well. Hopefully that makes sense. I won't keep going.
Yeah, that's all really cool.
So I think that's pretty much all I had. Other than if it's interesting, go try it out. We're offering a free 30-day trial. Go to www.softphone.com.
So what's the typical like use case for the customers? Is it like SMB products? Does it go to like ultra enterprise? Like what's the target market for it?
Yeah. So this is probably small to medium. We've got a lot of really small customers where it might be 5 or 6 people looking to get set up. We do have some groups, over 200 or 300 users who are using the platform today. As you start to get above that range, 200 to 300, we also do have other subscription services that might make more sense for them. The other service is called Bria Stretto. It's a slightly different client with, finer grain control of the settings. Bria Teams tries to make the setup and sign up and getting going process really simple. Bria Stretto is more for those customers who might really want to customize the experience, use their own messaging server, use kind of more obscure SIP settings. They don't want to just select stun, NAT, ICE, and turn. They want to do something else. Right? They've got a bunch of stuff that they want to configure that might be outside the scope of Bria Teams. And certainly when we talk to enterprise customers, as you kind of move up the ladder to enterprises and service providers, which is quite a bit of
in-house.
Yeah, they want their logo, their brand, their apps in the app stores, their own Mac and Windows clients, things like that. So we do have that kind of full range, but Bria Teams is really focused on the people that are looking for some of these UC services that you don't get with our retail apps, right? that are also available for iOS and Android.
Okay, cool.
All right, I will collaborate a screen share.
So Jim, tell us about some of the other products you guys are offering over there.
Yeah. So I already mentioned Bria Stretto. That's something that we offer through our reseller, channel partners. That's been pretty popular in that market and doing really well. We also offer, branded clients and retail clients for all the different platforms. So if you're an ITSP and you're interested in having your own apps, we can help you with that.
Yeah, that's one of the largest segments of your business, right?
It is, yeah, that is, yeah, that and OEMs, so other platform providers that have their own apps, they might be CounterPath apps.
So how do you guys address like all the different, because there's a lot of different platforms that you operate with. How do you guys do the interop for all that?
Yeah, so I don't think there's a magic bullet there, other than so CounterPath has been around since about 2000, right? So we've been doing this for a little while, and X-Lite, which is another one of our clients. It's a free-to-use desktop client that I think probably people are pretty familiar with. It gets used in everyone's lab, and I think it's probably become the de facto reference client for people that need a client to do some testing with. So that helps, right? Because those people report issues to us and say, I'm using a Sonos SBC with a Dialogic video board and something else, and I see this problem, and all of that rolls into our common SDK. Across all our products, all our customer products, we use a common core SDK with wrappers for each platform. And so whenever we fix something or do an improvement, it kind of flows across all those products. Yeah. And we do have a lot of customers using the SDK itself, so that's another go-to-market option for customers. Is if they want to build their own experience, that doesn't look like Bria, right? Kind of from a layout and control point of view, that they can take our SDK and put it underneath whatever app they might want to build. Certainly, for verticals like the healthcare space, that's really popular for our customers. They're looking to take voice and messaging and plug it into a patient care app, or the little smartphones that retailers use as they walk around. They want to put voice and video into their inventory, things like that. So that's been a really good fit for a bunch of our customers.
Wow, and so they have a lot of regulatory requirements too. So it's like all the HIPAA stuff in healthcare and
in the healthcare space,
it's constantly, it's secure messaging and all that type of stuff.
Yep. Yeah. The healthcare space and our government customer spaces help us with security all the time, right? They're always doing pen testing of our apps and of our SDK and of our servers and services, and help us with the updates.
Like I remember installing CounterPath like the X-Lite like 20 years ago.
I think my first CounterPath experience was with a Windows PDA. I was at a different company. We were putting cellular backpack sleds onto a Windows and HP iPad and doing fixed mobile convergence with CounterPath. CounterPath was one of our partners, and that was one of the first CounterPath clients I used. It's come a long way since then.
But it was even, even back then, it was basically for Windows. It was like one of the very few SIP software clients.
Yeah, definitely one that wasn't also tied to a particular platform. Right? So that's another reason that customers are interested in CounterPath is that if you use FreeSwitch today, but you might buy Cisco tomorrow, and part of your company uses BroadSoft, or name 15 other vendors. We've worked with all those platforms. We have active customers on all those platforms, and often we have feature sets that we can expose for each of those switches. Right? So we can kind of turn on all the things for a BroadSoft, or all the things for a written call server or something like that. So that part's been quite helpful. That long library of I don't know what to call the testing pain, but gives you interoperability. But that's
Okay. So thank you for coming in today. It's always great seeing you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, maybe this summer.
Back to you, Ken.
All right. Thanks, Jim, for coming in. Hey, Jim, before we let you go, real quick question. On that conference bridge sounds familiar.
It
Is
does.
that what it was?
Sorry?
Is that what I think it is?
It is, yeah. And the user-to-user calling service might be familiar too.
Cool. So, well, thank you very much, Jim. It looks like Mike is getting dragged out of camera here, so let me get on the screen.
Priorities.
All right. So you heard it from Jim today. You guys go check that out. We'll have links for you posted on the YouTube video and everything. So thanks for Jim and John for stopping by. Those guys are working hard over at CounterPath. If you need a soft phone, they have one of the best ones out there for those various platforms. And they work with FreeSwitch and Wire and all kinds of other fun stuff. And they even let you have on Bria on the iPhone. I use it myself. I let you have about 50 accounts in there, or I don't know. What's the upper limit, Jim? I've never got that high.
I think it's 25 for some reason. John, do you know?
I thought it was 10, but
no, it's more.
20?
On mobile, it's more.
On mobile, it's more. Okay.
Yeah, I know I've had it. I know I've had about a dozen in there in the past.
Okay.
For testing various things.
But you're certainly not the normal use case, that's for sure.
No, I'm not. But it works really, really well, and so you guys should check it out. Even the video works on it. We actually on occasion will use the video with my conference in FreeSwitch, so over SIP, so that works out really, really good. So you guys go check them out, CounterPath.com. Again, Jim, John, thank you guys very much. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up in the near future. We got Mr. Mike Mavrutis. He's going to be coming to us live from Europe next week, I believe. So you're going to want to check that out. We've got OpenSIP Summit, Comma Elio World coming up. If you're going to those things, look around. You'll probably find some of the FreeSwitch guys there, and you can find out more about FreeSwitch. You got ClueCon coming up this August. It's going to be rapidly approaching, guys. So if you haven't got your tickets for that yet and your hotel reservations, I would suggest you go. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. And don't forget, follow us on social media, like us on Facebook, follow on Twitter, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and you can get all the videos as we post them in the future. We'll see you guys next week.
You've been watching ClueCon Weekly. Tune in every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central. Keep up with the latest happenings by subscribing to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or visit us at freeswitch.com.